We are on a bit of a slippery slope at the moment, and two things are becoming apparent. The teams above us are staying well above us, and in terms of ability, the teams below us are catching us up at a rate of knots. And I have two questions that I need answers to, and I need those answers very quickly. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, part 27, season 4, here in the Ferguson save set in the future. And whilst I should be fairly happy that we are currently sitting in 5th in the Premier League, we have played 21, we have 39 points, we have a game in hand over Leicester and Manchester City, and we could overtake them and finish in 3rd after that game in hand. But I have this odd feeling that we are on a slippery slope, and that the teams above us are staying above us in terms of ability, and whilst our ability is staying the same, other teams like Leeds, Bournemouth, Aston Villa and West Ham and Chelsea, who we will play today, are actually catching us up, and they are going to overtake us in the future. And it does seem to me the big question is, why are we falling behind? And there could be two questions to ask. The first question being, am I being too protective of my best players? And I've spent 3 seasons trying to hold on to them. And so by holding on to them, I'm not developing the team in any way. These players have reached their maximum potential, and therefore the teams behind us are bringing in players who are developing, and that's the reason why we are slipping down the league table rankings. And so the answer to the question there might be, do I need to start selling players now? Am I being overprotective? Do I need to let 1 or 2 of them go so that I can bring in players with a higher potential of ability so that we can improve the team rather than staying static? I have a funny feeling it might be to do with this. But the other question that I have is, does the game learn about my style of management? And when I'm talking about the game, I'm not talking about over time in a particular save. I'm talking about the game in general. And the reason why I'm starting to question this is because in all my saves recently, I seem to be getting a lot of interest from clubs in Portugal. I seem to be getting a lot of interaction from clubs in Scotland. And does the game actually as a whole thing learn about your style? And has the game come to terms with the style of management that I have, and does it know how I like to play now? I've been playing this very successful 4-1-2-2-1 tactic across many saves now, and has the game learned that that's how I'm playing in each of my saves? I also use the same managerial profile each time I set up a new save. Is it getting used to the way that I actually manage my teams? And therefore, do I need to change my management profile every time I open up a new save now, as the game goes into 7 and 8 months old? And if it is learning how I play the game, and that is what the issue is, and it did seem to be somewhere along those lines when I changed things up in the Burnley save, which people saw on the live stream not so long ago, then it might be that what I need to do is actually change things here in the Norwich save. If the game has learned how to deal with this 4-1-2-2-1 tactic now across all the saves, then maybe it's time for it to go across all the saves. And so today we are going to change things up as well. I need to find an answer to those two questions, and I need to find an answer fast before we slip out of the European places. But before we go into what's been happening both on and off the pitch, if you are brand new to the channel, you like FM content, you love to see people suffer playing this game, then you're in the right place. So why not subscribe, like, watch and comment, help the channel to grow, and help us to support the very worthwhile cause that you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. And so let's have a look at what's been happening on the pitch since you were last with us. And when you were last with us, you saw us have that defeat 2-1 away at Liverpool. But we did follow that with a very nice 5-1 victory against Blackburn at home. That was followed by a 3-2 away defeat at Manchester United. It was a poor game, that one. And then we beat Slava Prague in the Champions League phase by 3-0. At home to Leicester, we played very badly again and ended up with only a 1-1 draw in the Premier League. And we followed that up with an EFL quarter-final tie against Bournemouth, which we lost by 2-0. Signs were that teams are starting to catch up with us in terms of ability. Against West Ham in the Premier League, we bounced back with a 2-0 home victory and then a very surprising 1-0 defeat away at Leeds. A game we dominated, but a game again we couldn't score in. We're not getting shots on target for some reason. I need to solve that problem. I need to find out why that is. And we followed that with a 2-0 victory against Wigan, and it was after the defeat against Leeds that I decided that we were going to change things up. And so I decided to go Brazilian, and we set up the team in the Brazilian style, and we came away with a 2-0 victory. And this worked in the Burnley save, and I'm happy to say in our first game against Wigan, a game we should win anyway, it did bring success. And so today we are going to continue with that in the 2 games that we will play today. We will be away at Chelsea, which is a very, very tough game, and then we will be at home to Wolves. Wolves being one of the teams who are potentially catching us up in terms of overall team ability. So we will see today whether or not we'll get some success by completely changing the system, by going much more attacking, by putting the pressure on teams, and it will either fail or it will succeed. I think it's time to take some risks. And talking of risks, as you can see, we're coming into January and the transfer window has already opened. And I have made a bid for one player. I haven't made a bid as such. He's actually going to hopefully come in on a free transfer. He's a 25-year-old Brazilian goalkeeper. He is known as Daryl. And although he's only 5'11", he is a very good sweeper keeper. And if I am going to change the system to the Brazilian style of play, then I'm going to need to have a goalkeeper who is very efficient at dealing with this space that is going to be left vacant by my defenders. So as Götze is very much a problem player at the moment, and Götze seems to be having 2 bad games, then 3 good games, then 2 bad games, I think possibly his time at Norwich has come to an end. And Götze is one of the players who will bring in a lot of money for me. If I can sell Götze, he's got a value of 32 to 35 million. Bringing in a new goalkeeper on a free would free up that money that we could use to strengthen the rest of the squad. We have a number of players who are wanted. Reguan is wanted, Sutherland's wanted, Jay Neal is wanted, and Clark Pook is wanted. Belmonte's wanted, Zapropoulos is wanted, and Hosoya is wanted. I do have to raise some funds somewhere, and if we can't bring in good players now, then it's going to get to be a problem as we approach the summer transfer window. So I think I'd be looking to bring in 2 good players, sell maybe 2 players, bring in 2 very good players who will improve the team and who can play in this new Brazilian attacking 4-2-4. But today, as I mentioned, we do have 2 big games to play. We will be away at Chelsea first, and then we will be home to Wolves. I'm really hoping that the tactic might solve the problem for me in the short term whilst we look to strengthen the team. We will either fail today, as I said, or we will succeed. I'm hoping we will succeed. Let's go and kick some balls. And so the team for today against Chelsea is Götze in goal, with Kamara, Reguan, Muntin and Allen at the back. Belmonte and Kitambala will play in midfield, with Pook and Hosoya out wide. Wilden and Neil will take up the front two. I don't feel very optimistic. It isn't the proper Brazilian style. We are having to play with a roaming playmaker rather than the segundo volante. And so it is probably not going to be very successful away at Chelsea. I'm just going to tell them I want to see a good performance today. But I've got faith in you. Go out there and put on a performance, put on a show. Let's try and beat Chelsea. Let's go at them. Let's see if we can't shock them. And this is what happens when we tend to use this tactic. It does tend to shock teams a little bit, and they're not geared up for us attacking in this way. We do have in the past put an emphasis on solid defence, and when we come at teams this way, it can cause them problems at the back. And I'm hoping that's what's going to happen today. And we are putting Chelsea under pressure, but Chelsea have broken the press. They are looking to get forward. They found space behind, and they are looking to get into the box. But that's a lovely tackle. But I think we've given a penalty away, have we? No, we haven't. Yes, we have. No, we haven't. What is the referee doing here? I think we have given away a penalty. I'm really not sure what happened there. I think we got away with the first tackle, and then when the game somehow started again, we gave away a penalty. And so I think we're going to go a goal behind to Chelsea. Not the best start. It's no penalty anyway. I don't know what I'm talking about here. The game went crazy there for a second, and I couldn't follow it. It is a free kick to Chelsea outside the box. We need to defend this free kick very well, and hopefully we'll do that. And it goes into the box to the far post. It's headed clear, but Chelsea do have an option and they do have several options at the edge of the box, and it goes wide of the post. We've survived, and Chelsea are looking like they are the better team. For a team that is attacking, we haven't had made any chances, which is kind of really weird because this tactic normally produces a lot of chances. But we'll see how it goes, and at the moment it's still 0-0, and we are still trying to get at Chelsea. Maybe I need to dribble less. One of the things is run at the defence, and maybe I need to do less of that, ask the boys to dribble less. But we'll just wait for this highlight, and I'll make that change. Muntin finds Allen all the way back to the goalkeeper, and Götze finds Timbala. I think we're a bit all over the shop here at the moment. We don't really know how to play this formation as yet, and we're looking a little bit all over the shop. But we still have the ball, and it is a possession-based tactic, and we are holding on to the ball nicely, and Wilden is in space. He has a lot of space. Wilden still has it. He's run the ball out of play, and unfortunately Wilden again is out of form. He's not his normal self. I am going to ask the team to dribble less, I think, rather than run at the defence. I think Chelsea are too good for us to be running at them, and so I think we'll just slow it down a little bit. We'll pass it around a bit more and hopefully break Chelsea that way. But at the moment Chelsea are the better team. We've dominated possession. We're just not creating the chances that this tactic should be creating. And as we're coming up to half-time, we have the ball again. We are recovering well, but that's a poor pass, and that is something that is actually happening as well over this save at the moment, is our passing has become quite poor. And I'm going to shout at the boys. I'm going to tell them to focus and to make sure that their passing is good enough, because at the moment Chelsea are absolutely hammering us. And they do have a free kick. It's a good save by Götze. Götze has decided perhaps to have one of his better days today. The reaction to focus has not been very good. Some of them are overwhelmed by the shout, and I'm not quite sure why that would be. We are defending well against Chelsea. We're not attacking well. And another good piece of defending there. And Chelsea, though, do have the ball, looking to bring it forward. The highlight comes to an end. And at the moment, it's still Chelsea 0, Norwich 0. And as we approach half-time, I think I'm going to say I'm proud of everybody's efforts so far. But I do need to tell one or two players that they're not playing well enough. And I think we need to tell Wilden, we need to tell Clark Pook, and we need to tell Hossoya that they are not playing well enough. The defence are playing very well. So I'm going to say I'm not happy with your performances out there. Perhaps it's not really down to them. We're just not creating chances at the moment. And Kitambala and Belmonte have to do a little bit better in midfield. But at the moment, it's still Chelsea 0, Norwich 0. Nothing is happening in this game. And Chelsea, although I think have been the better side, although we've dominated possession, Chelsea are still creating much more opportunities than we are. So I think now it's time to go and make some changes. And so we have made our changes, and I really need a performance from one of these boys. I really need to get 3 points here today. We're really slipping in terms of the Premier League, and it's not good enough. We are giving up a lot of space to Chelsea. They are in and they have scored, and it is now Chelsea 1, Norwich 0. And I think it's just deserved. I think we've not been good enough. We've created 3 chances. Although we have had, funnily enough, we've got 2 of them on target instead of the 12 attempts and only 1 on target. We've now got 3 with only 2 on target. Had we created more chances, we possibly might have got a goal. We're in real trouble here as a team, and we are going to slip down now to 6th place in the Premier League, and it's just not good enough. Leicester are above us now, and something has to give with this team, and I have to demand more of them. I think they're not playing very well. They're really struggling against Chelsea, and Chelsea could make it 2-0 here, and it's just over the crossbar. I feel that this save is falling apart, and I need to do something very, very quickly. We cannot keep losing games, which is what's happening. It could be that the Champions League is just too much for us, but at the moment we're just not playing well enough. And we deserve to be slipping down the table, and it would not surprise me to see us really getting ourselves into trouble. And I don't like what I saw from that team today. Absolutely shocking performance. And it is either to do with the fact that teams know how I'm playing, or that possibly now that the change of tactic hasn't worked, then it's possibly to do with the fact this team is pretty much finished, that they've reached the level that they're going to reach, and that there's nothing more that they're going to be able to achieve. And that means selling players now and bringing in new players. And the likes of Pook, J. Neal, it might be time's up for them. Even Wilden, Gotts, players of that calibre, Kitambala, Fortes, it may be that time is up for those players. We need to go and get ready for the game against Wolves. I'm hoping that we're going to have a better performance and a better result, but I don't feel very optimistic. I think this season is done. We are finished, and unless something happens dramatically very soon, it's all over for this season. I'll be right back just before the game. And so the team for today against Wolves, in what is now a very important game. If we lose this, we are in desperate trouble. We are at home and we should win against Wolves, but you just never know. The expectation of the board and the supporters is that we will win this game. And so in goal we have Gotts, and at the back we have Kamara, Reguan, Lay and Allen. In midfield is Muntin and Pook, and up front we will have Jerusu, Hosoya, Wilden and Maliti. Jerusu is getting a game. I do feel that the board are putting pressure on me to develop the youth, and so we have to play these young players now and again. And we're going to start Jerusu, give him a game, and see how he gets on. If he's doing okay by half-time, all well and good. If not, then we might have to take him off. And hopefully, though, this game will be better than the Chelsea game. We should be beating Wolves. It shouldn't be a problem. I'm thinking it might be a problem. We have made the better start, but still we are not creating chances. And although we have dominated everything in the game, it's Wolves who have actually made the chances. And I'm not quite sure why in an attacking formation like this we're not creating chances. We should be throwing the kitchen sink at their goal, and we're not for some reason. And it's just, I think it's because the players, what I'm being told by the game is the players are simply not good enough anymore. And they're telling me in this transfer window, you have to do something or you're going to be in real trouble. And we have cleared it, and Maletti, who is going to develop into a very good player himself, but he's got a lot of development left to do. He finds Muntian finds Kamara. Hosoya bends one and hits the post. And is that going to be a sign of the times today? We do have another free kick into the box. Can we get on the end of it? No, we can't. It's picked up, and we do pick up the second ball. Here is Pook advancing forward. Pook, who needs a big game, and he fires it past the post. And that's unfortunate. But we do, it's a sign of the times, I think. It's a sign that we are not playing very well, that this team is not good enough. And that is what I'm being told. And again, we're back to this. We can't get shots on target again. No matter what we do, we cannot hit a barn door if it was right in front of our nose. And I don't know how to solve that problem. I'm pretty good at solving problems in this game. But getting shots on target, I don't know how to solve that one. And Wolves are going to score, are they? And they have it's just drifted wide of the post. It remains 0-0. It's a pretty open game. We are in control of it. We've had most of the possession and we've had more shots than Wolves. We just haven't had any on target. And that is the problem with this team at the moment. Can't create enough. And even though we do get into positions, we can't get it on target. Wolves have made a mess of that, though, but the goalkeeper has saved it. And that does count as a shot on target. But if we look at the stats, 5 shots, only 1 on target. And 20% on target is not enough. And I really don't know how to solve this problem. Pook fires in a shot and it goes over the crossbar for another shot not on target. We've dominated everything. We've dominated possession. We've got all the match momentum. We are creating more than Wolves. But again, we cannot score. And I don't know what to do about this. And I have great forwards, including Wilden, and I don't know why we can't hit a barn door for the love of barn doors. And we're losing the ball in midfield. Now, come on, boys. I've got to shout and I'm going to demand more from this. This is not good enough. And I really am struggling. What can I do? I've tried changing the tactic now. I've tried all sorts of things in terms of changing player roles. I've shifted the lines all the time in this run of poor form. I've changed the passing style, the width, and still we can't hit a barn door if it fell on us. And the opposition, all they need to do is have one chance and they will score just like this, and it's hit the post and it's come out. And here's Jerusu's having a poor game, but everybody up front is having a poor game. Somebody needs to do something, a little spark of some kind of form, and we will go ahead. But unless somebody does something, and Hosoya's shot there was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. This is a poor looking team I have at the moment, and it might be due to the fact that Champions League is just too much, too many games, and Jerusu has taken a knock. We'll put on Zapropoulos instead. Jerusu was having a poor game. That experiment failed. Might be as wise to let him go out on loan. And again, they're going to be told off. Although maybe I should be not so hard on them. Maybe I should say the fads expect a win. Let's not let them down. Wilden is poor. We have to tell Wilden it's not good enough. Everybody up top is poor. It's like we have to be telling them it's not good enough. Pook is having a decent game, and the defence are playing well. And I need to tell them up front this is not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. And the second half has begun, and it is Wolves who have the first highlight. Can we turn it over? Usually the highlight from the kickoff is turned over. Kamara has the ball now. We need to hold on to it. I do need to run at this Wolves defence. They are not as good as we are. technically, but everybody seems to be better than we are at the moment, including Wigan. Wigan put up a very, very good performance. Wigan, bottom of the league. It took 2 very late goals and substitutions before we could break them open. Here's Hossoya into the box. Here's a chance. It has gone in, and I think it's Meliti, but is it going to be another offside goal? We've had about 8 offside goals in the last month. Is this going to be another one? I really think it might be. No, this one has been awarded. And finally, our offside goal duck has been broken for this year. And Hossoya's pass in, Wilden did well, and Meliti hammered it in from close range. Finally, we have gone a goal ahead. I'm still not very happy with this team. They're still not looking sharp enough for me. They should be doing a lot better. But since I told them at half-time that they were not good enough, they have improved. Defensively, we're still playing well, and it's up top that we were problematical. But now that we've broken this duck now, maybe we can go on and score another couple of goals. Hopefully, we are in 5th place now, and we are just 1 point behind Leicester. So maybe times are going to change. Wolves was always going to be difficult. We do have a corner. I will make some changes after the corner. The ball goes into the box. The goalkeeper claims it. And if that's the end of the highlight, we will go and make some changes. But it isn't. The goalkeeper is going to play it out. We want them to play it long, and they have. And Alan has picked the ball up at the back. Lee is looking forward. He's taking his time, as this is a slow-paced passing tactic. It's good to see him taking his time. I'm going to definitely come off, get stuck in. I want our boys to stay on the feet. There's a lot of yellow cards going on here. Lee, again, should be looking forward. He looks to Alan. Alan finds Zaprapoulos struggling to keep hold of the ball. He finds Alan again. Alan into Wilden. Wilden beats his man. Finds Zaprapoulos. Zaprapoulos in space. It's 2-0. And I had a feeling once we broke our duck that maybe the confidence would start to flow. And finally, I can relax a little bit. We are beating Wolves comfortably now, and hopefully Wolves are done for the day. Wilden did very well, got stuck in, and Zaprapoulos hammered it home. It's now Norwich 2, Wolves 0, and I don't think we need to check for offside. We know it was okay. Let's go and make some changes. And so we have made our changes, and hopefully we can now hold on to this 2-0, even maybe increase it. Who knows? We do have another highlight. Zakarioka tries to get the ball into the box. It's blocked. And Suarez is bringing the ball away for Wolves. But Sutherland, who's just come on, has done very well. He finds Reguan. Reguan to Hossoya. Hossoya, nice pass out to Zakarioka. He's bringing it backwards, looks for Sutherland. Sutherland finds Reguan. We're passing the ball around a little bit better than we were in the first half. Hossoya has got into the box. He does have a chance. He's missed the goal by where he should have scored. And he just slid it past the post. But it does remain. Norwich 2, Wolves 0. I think we are dominating Wolves now. Wolves are not looking like they have anything to offer. We are fitter than Wolves. We look like we have all the match momentum, and the game is pretty much done for them. And I think that should be it now. And Wolves have gone down to 10 men as well. They've had an injury. And Fortes, who's just come on, he's going to come and play as a roaming playmaker in midfield. And it may be that sometimes we will play with the Volante, sometimes we'll play with a roaming playmaker. It will just depend on who's available for selection. But here is the Zakarioka. Missing Fortes for 4 weeks with his injury was a big problem. But now he's back, hopefully to full fitness. Will be stronger in midfield as well, and that will help. And as the game comes to an end, we're just going into time added on. It looks like the final score is going to be Norwich 2, Wolves 0. We'll take that. It's been a very, very poor run of form of late, and we'll take a 2-0 victory against Wolves. a team we could not take lightly. They are a very good team, but we've beaten them and we have gone back up to 5th, and that's got to be good. I mean, at the end of the day, in terms of the save, it would be better if we actually were to qualify for the Europa League, not for the Champions League. So where we are in 5th at the moment is a good thing. But if we have a look at the schedule, it's going to be a very difficult January. We have a lot of fixtures. Barcelona in there, Atletico Madrid in there, Newcastle in there. It's going to be a very, very tough month. And we will also have to do some business, I think, in the transfer window. We will come back for the Leicester and the Manchester United games. And hopefully we're going to do better against both of those teams than we did previously. And I think for this episode, that is it. And if you are brand new to the channel, you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, you're definitely in the right place. Drop us a like, leave a comment, let me know what kind of FM content that you would like to see, and help the channel to grow. Help us to support the British Heart Foundation. I don't know how to describe myself at the moment. I'm not a happy manager. Our form of late has been absolutely terrible. Maybe it will improve once we come out of the Champions League group phase stuff. I don't know. But I hope that we can start to perform better than we have lately. We need to do much better. I think I need to get busy in the transfer window. All that remains to be said now. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.